What is good, y'all? It's Ronald, also known as Youcapper from sportsmemo.com. Welcome to another episode of Let's Cap. Got my guy here, Austin Wang, in the building from Action Network, and we got YBB Sports Data. I almost said your name again. I mean, you guys know these guys. I rock with them on Twitter, and I retweet their stuff, and so you guys should be familiar with these guys. They've been on my show every Friday as well. I know YBB, he has to go in a few minutes. So what we're going to do today is actually go the other way around. Normally we go in with the MLB and SDQL first and then go into UFC. But we're going to go the other way around. We're going to go UFC first and then go into the MLB and break that stuff down in a little bit. So YBB, we had the UFC this weekend. Let's see if we have, sorry about that. The screen up here. We got the UFC this weekend. We got Dos Anjos and Fiziev as one of the main events here. And I think another one that we want to see is for me, especially because I'm a card collector just like you. But some guys, some people like Nina Nunes, I have a whole bunch of cards of her. And other than that, there's a lot of young people on this card. What are you looking at for this UFC this weekend?
Man, this is actually a very untrustworthy card with very a lot of these fighters are in prove-it spots, and a lot of them don't live up to expectation. There's only a couple of fighters on this card with actual rookie cards. Kennedy and Zechiku is one of them. Yeah, Said Nurmagomedov. He's another one that he has a rookie card from last year's product. A fighter that I'm looking at, though, is Sadyokub Kakramanov. This is a guy who I think is being slept on by the betting market. What we know about his opponent is that, he's going to want to wrestle, and he attempts a lot of takedowns, but he's fought a lower level of competition. This is a guy who, in his last fight, he was dropped twice by Mana Martinez. Mana Martinez is, I don't even think he has a win in the UFC just yet. All right, I take that back. He might have one. But anyways, he came in overweight for that fight if he did. This is a spot where I just think that we're looking at the upside of his wrestling a little too much. Let me see really quick.
He's a dog in this one, right?
Yeah, Ronnie Lawrence. All right, so this is what I want to talk about Ronnie Lawrence. Ronnie Lawrence he doesn't even have wrestling background. He didn't wrestle in college. He doesn't come from that background. He's just fighting these lower level competition of guys where he's able to shoot, reshoot, reload, and take them down. Sadyokub actually comes from a wrestling background. This guy was, he has Sambo wrestling in his back pocket. He has a mean left hook. He has the power advantage in this spot. A lot of people are concerned with his cardio advantage. The reason I like him in this spot is because, similar to Ian Gary last week, these guys are young. They're moldable. They're coachable. They're still learning. And Sadyokub's only 26 years old. He's only going to get better. He's only going to improve. I love every interview that I'm watching of him. He's very confident that he gets the job done over Ronnie Lawrence. And to be honest, I think he catches that chin early in round one.
Damn.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and this is a fighter who I'm looking at 2023 product. When that releases, I want a Sadyokub Kakramanov card because this guy, he's only going to get better. He's representing Uzbekistan, and he's proud to be backing them. Every interview, he's always bringing up his country, so he fights with a lot of pride. So
yeah,
those are fighters I want to back.
What would it be as a finish before the third?
Like an ITV line?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it. I'm not exactly too sure what that number is, but I just see it's either Ronnie Lawrence is going to win by combinations. I don't know that he's really going to use his wrestling here. I think he's going to try, but
yeah,
I don't know. And this line is actually steaming in the wrong way, in my opinion. I think that, if I'm a bookmaker, I'm pricing this minus 110 a piece. Right now, you're getting plus 115 on the Sadyokub side.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me my opinion, I think, in a fight where I assume the line should be even and pick 'em, I'll side with the dog 100% of the time. Yeah. So, yeah, I like the spot for him. Sadyokub to win inside the distance is plus 250. Not a bad look. But yeah, I do think that he puts Ronnie Lawrence down. Ronnie Lawrence, I just didn't like his last performance. The guy is He's good, right? He's good against these lower level guys. He's good against guys he should be good against. But this is a spot where I don't know that he's going to exactly shine. So that's my favorite play on the card as it stands. But again, the card overall, full of trust issues, full of guys who are in proven spots. You know, you have Antonina Shevchenko, the sister of Valentina.
Yeah.
She has a very low IQ. You don't know what you're going to get from her. She's a kickboxer who, you know, willingly goes to the mat and gets submitted at times. So there's just questions everywhere on this card. Another spot that I kind of like is, this is going to be very, contrary because I like Rafael Fiziev, but if you're giving me RDA to get a TKO at plus 1,000, that is all the value in the world because we've seen Fiziev, slow up. Now, don't get it twisted. The prediction is Rafael Fiziev, but the value is not there. The value is on the number on the RDA side. So,
yeah,
I like RDA. This guy's a vet. He looked good at weigh-ins today. He's the vet. He's experienced. I don't know that Rafael Fiziev is going to throw anything that RDA has not seen.
Yeah.
So the prediction again is going to be on Fiziev. I think this is a passing of this torch moment. I think the only thing undefeated in this game is Father Time, and RDA is getting up there in age, so that weight cut's only getting more difficult. But that number just speaks volumes. To get a TKO in a 5-round fight.
Yep.
Man, that's eye candy to me.
Hey, real quick before we move on to baseball, though, that Nina Nunes and Cynthia Cavillo, I see the line going towards Nina Nunes, and that's the way that I was looking as well. Do you think the line is going in the right direction there in that one?
This is tough to say, man, and this is another spot where it's just like two very inconsistent fighters. Let's see, Nina Nunes, I'm showing as a plus 120 dog.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's about right. I think I don't like to bet on accurate numbers. I think this is an accurate line. Now, Nina Nunes, she's a natural strawweight, and she's going up a weight class to take this fight. I don't know where her motivation lies exactly, and this is the last fight of her contract as well. So she may just be fighting out her contract.
That's interesting to know. So that's actually an interesting note that you just mentioned. What is the motivation for those last fights of the contract? Do they want to perform well to extend the contract, or are they like, all right, fuck it, like I'm just gonna leave and go to a different organization?
A lot of these fighters, they want to win. They want to win, but you got to understand, Nina Nunes is married to Amanda Nunes. I don't know that money is really a factor for her at this point. And she also mentioned in an interview that she'd like to have another kid. So, I don't know, man. I think that's giving me more.
Well, that's enough to talk me off.
Side a little bit more, but again, this is a low-level fight that I'm just not interested in betting on either fighter. Because Cynthia, what we know about her is she's a quitter, man. She quits when the pressure is on her, and we've seen her quit in between rounds before as well. So this is a fight that I want nothing to do with. I'll watch it. And I'll root for you, go Nunes, but the line is just too spot on.
That's enough to talk me off of it. I didn't play it yet, but that was the way that I was leaning, and I saw the line going that way as well. So, I mean, I thought I would be on the right side, but that's some interesting notes that you brought up there on that one specifically. So as far as like official plays, it seems like Kakramanov would be probably the only one.
Kakramanov is my favorite one. I think overall, looking at the card, it's taxed, man. Ricky Turcios, this guy is going to have he's another guy who's going to have some pretty valuable 2023 Prism rookie cards. He's one of those hippie kind of fighters that people want to see do well. If you look at his post-fight speeches, this guy is marketable. But the line, man, you're paying a tax on this guy for his sophomore fight. And those are fights that I just would rather watch as a fan. Because if you ask me, I think all the value in the world is on Ayman Zahabi. I'm predicting Ayman Zahabi to actually get the upset. But, the thing with Turcios is he's a fan fighter. He trades shots. He's very hittable, but he's active. He's active off his back. He's always, willing to engage. So I don't know. That's going to be an interesting fight. But my favorite fight on the card is actually the co-main event. We have Armin Petrosyan taking on Cal Bahayo. These are two fighters that will also have 2023 Prism rookie cards. But, this is a spot where again, you're paying that tax on Kai Bahayo. He's training with the likes of Damian Maya. So, he's getting in some good work. He's very young. But Armin Petrosian, man, this guy, he can kickbox like no one else. I mean, his stand-up is beautiful. His karate is awesome. His kick game is, I don't know if I want to say levels ahead of Kyle, but it's going to be an interesting fight. I don't agree with the number. I think the value's on the dog in this spot as well because Armin, what we've seen from him.
It opened at minus 140, and we're seeing minus 240s. That's a whole 100 points right there.
That's a spot where I'd be interested in buying back in at peak, but a lot of these peak numbers come before fight time on Saturday. When the fights are about to happen, you see these numbers just inflate like crazy. Yeah. I have said Youcapper at plus 110. He's at plus 115. I might even buy back in at plus 120 just because I think that this line is dishonest. I think that it should be a pick'em, a true pick'em fight. Mm-hmm. But in this spot, Cal, I think he should be priced around a minus 160 favorite. So this line is giving me enough edge to want to entertain the dog. Armin is a guy who doesn't accept the takedown. He does scramble to get back to his feet. He doesn't just accept position. He will get back up to the striking department. So that's an interesting note right there. But that's my favorite fight on the card as far as prospects are concerned. So yeah, official pick. My only pick of the card is I'm taking Youcapper Kakramanov to get it done. I may entertain inside the distance, just depending on how risky I feel later on. But that's what I have for UFC, guys. Appreciate you having me on. I'm
yes, sir.
And I'll see you guys next Friday.
All right, bro. Take care.
Later, y'all.
Later.
All right, let's see here. All right, so that was the UFC, guys. Now it's time to get into the MLB here. First game we're looking at
some WNBA to talk about today, man.
God, I wish we don't have WNBA until the 12th. I mean the All-Star weekend here, and then we got a nice 5-game slate on the first day back on the WNBA, so that'll be fun to get into. But this is so next up is the MLB. We got the Angels, Baltimore Orioles. We can go into Spodevs first. Look at the quick analysis here. I know we were both looking at the same play here. I believe I believe mine was the first 5 and you're the full game. But the starter analysis, Detmers versus Wells. We're looking at Detmers, who's been struggling lately, 0-3, 6.23 ERA, struggles on the road as well. Tyler Wells, he's been killing it, 1.13 in the last 3 games, 3-0. And also been doing well at home. Yeah, 2.20. From a bat perspective, you can see the Angels are struggling at the bat, specifically on the road against righties here. And even in the last few games, 1.27 against righties, 1.6 average runs per game in those spots as well. I mean, there's really only one way to look, and that's towards the Orioles here. The interesting note is that, they're really not favorites too often, even at home. You want to run with it, Austin? And I broke this down earlier on the cycle. We want to hear your take as well.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. All the points that you made were what I included in my handicap. Just what you were saying earlier. They're not favored very often. When they are, I think they're 3-1 this season. When they're favorites, and they're one of the hottest teams in baseball. Won 5 in a row. They do exceptionally well at home. They're 8-2 in the last 10 home games. Just solid at home overall. The Angels. If you take a look at their splits, awful on the road. Their offense, their bats have been really cold lately. So outside of Trout and Ohtani, not much to be happy about over there. And if you take a look at the Angels, they're 4-17 as an away dog. 5-21 as an underdog, period. So I really like the spot for the Orioles. Like you said, Tyler Wells has been solid. He's only given up 3 earned runs in the last 4 games, and he's picked up a win in 5 consecutive starts. The Orioles have the starting pitcher advantage, a significant bullpen advantage, and I like the splits that are in favor of the Orioles at home and against the Angels on the road.
Yeah, I mean, here's some things that you brought up, right? The 3-1 as home favorite, because they're not favored often at all. 3-1 so far this season as home favorites. The interesting to note is Tyler Wells has 2 of those W's. They won 6-1 against the Royals, 7-0 against the Nationals. And the Angels, we already talked about how bad they're hitting, especially on the road against righties. And then we go to the Angel side here. Angels as road dogs. You already mentioned this as well. 4-17 straight up full game, 5-14-2 in the first 5. And one thing that Mitch mentions here in the chat is the striking out in these spots, 10.95 strikeouts per game here. So if you want to look towards the Tyler Wells K prop, I think it's at 4.5. We talked about that a little bit earlier on my other show. That is definitely a good look here. But you look at the splits on the first 5, 1.29 run support, 3.33 on for the opponents, and then on the full game, 2.43 run support versus 5 full game. So I know I was on a ski show earlier. He had Rob Vino on, and I think they were both on the Orioles full game run line, and you could get that at plus 150. I believe they got that at plus 150, and that's definitely a nice look there to get plus money.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all aligned there with the Orioles. And the next game here, did you have anything else to add on that one? Sorry.
No, I think we covered it all.
Yeah. And the next game we have here is the Marlins and the Mets. The Mets are minus 150 here. Totals at 7.5. We can go to Spodebs to go to the quick analysis. And we have the Marlins 19-25 on the road, Mets 27-13 at home. Very, very strong at home. We got Pablo Lopez versus Chris Bassett, both righties here. Pretty strong Marlins ERA here, 3.06 and 1.07 whip. Chris Bassett close to 4 on the ERA, 1.14 whip. They get both close to 6 innings a piece there.
If we look at note, since you're talking about the pitchers, Pablo Lopez, I like him quite a bit, but he, last time he pitched against the Mets, and this was about a month ago, he got beat up pretty bad. He allowed 7 runs, so they're hitting him really well. So I like the spot for the Mets.
Yeah, we're looking at the recent games here. Lopez 2-1, 3.44 ERA. Bassett 2-1, 2.53 ERA. I think there's a little bit recency. There's a little bit of support on Bassett here, like on the trajectory where he's going. At home, 3.16. Away, 3.4. I feel like there's a little bit of. It's pretty even from a starting pitcher standpoint. I think this is where the bats take over, and you can just kind of see the Mets at home 0.255. 255 on the batting average, 5.12 run support. They hit righties a little bit better than they do lefties at home. And then the Marlins, even though they do hit righties better than lefties on the road, they're still the batting average and the run support is still a little bit less. Here, a lot of the runs are coming from the home run ball, and it looks like Bassett has been doing a little bit better of not allowing the home run at home and also in the recent games. And if we go from to give me the dog here, did you have any trends to pull up?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few that I've noted down. Like we talked about earlier, one of the best home teams in baseball, 27-5-8 in the first 5, 24-2-7 in the first 5 as home favorites.
Yep.
Chris Bassett, if you look at his first 5 stats at home, he's 6-1-1. So those are some trends and stats. And I looked at the matchup between the Mets and the Marlins. And if you date back to last season, they're 10-1-2 straight up in the first 5 at home. So they've dominated this matchup recently, especially at home. Pablo Lopez, like I said, I like him. But if you look at the splits, the Marlins are not very good as a dog. They're not very good on the road. They're still missing Jazz Chisholm Jr., who expected to be out through the break. I really like the spot for the Mets. First 5, I'm going to take the first 5 run line. I got it at even money earlier.
Yeah, I also saw that even money here. So looking at some of the things that you brought up, we have this season Marlins as road dogs, 10-20-4 straight up. on the first 5, 12 and 19 on the first 5 run line here. You can kind of see the splits on the first 5, averaging 1.71 of run support, and then close to 3, allowing 3 runs per game for the opponent here. And if we look at Chris Bassett specifically let's bring in Pablo Lopez here and see how he does. These spots. So 2, 3, and 1 on the first 5 money line. So it's not too crazy as far as like trusting to fade him, but I think we're more likely playing on the Mets and Chris Bassett in this spot here, because you could kind of see the Mets at home with Chris Bassett on the mound, 6-1-1 straight up, and as a favorite, 5-1 on the run line. Sorry, 4-1 on the run line here. And the only loss here was actually against the Marlins. So that's one interesting thing to note there. But it was against Alcantara. So that's always a struggle to go against someone like him. Run support, 3.6 on the first 5 and allowing 0.6. Actually, let's look at how this game went on the first 5. June 19th. So look at that. That's interesting to hear is a 0-0 in the first 5. And then they allowed 6. The bullpen allowed 6. And that's where they got the loss. So Bassett really didn't, if we're looking at first 5 in general, that's where, you got to look at the details, not the surface level, if that makes sense.
Love it.
And then we look at the Mets here as home favorites. We talked about that, 24, 2, and 7 on the money line. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy as a home favorite. And let's look at how they do against starting righties here. 16-1-5 straight up, 15-5 on the run line. If it's a minus a half run. So a lot of support here for the first 5 run line on the Mets. And you look at these splits here, 3.6 run support versus 1.18. That's just a lot of support here for the Mets run line. I like that play a lot. Anything to add, Austin?
Nope. Yeah, I like those 2 plays quite a bit.
Yeah. Bassett, Mitch in the chat again. Bassett K's low-key catching my eye. Yeah, I think this is a spot here. If you look at the splits, let's bring up the splits for Bassett again. .75 strikeouts on their opponents there. So yeah, there's definitely a position spot there to take the K's. Caesar bringing up Marlins 4-0 away after back-to-back losses. I think for me, this one, it's a lot. It's hard to do these situational ones, Caesar, especially in baseball, for like after losses or after wins, because I think the starting pitcher is very key to the cap in Major League Baseball, and it's not like they're getting that starting pitcher again in the following game for him to really bounce back, if that makes sense. So situations like that to me are a little bit different than like in the NBA or WNBA, for instance. Hopefully that makes sense. Austin, what is your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting stat, but I think you kind of look at it from quite a small sample size there. But if you just take a look at holistically, I'm looking at their road splits. I'm looking at their performances as an underdog. And I think that tells a lot better, paint a lot better picture than just maybe a recent trend there.
Yeah, I mean, just to paint a picture too, like there's 162 games in the MLB versus 82 in the NBA. So trends take a little bit longer to really make sense if you guys get me. Like you don't want to do like a 2-0 trend or whatever, because it really is a small sample size compared to if it was 2-0 in the NBA or 2-0 in the NFL, which is 18 games or whatever. So that's the way that I think, Caesar. I mean, I definitely don't make me talk you off of your play there. It's definitely a good thing to bring up. Marlins being
Yeah, no, it's
4-0.
a nice
It's
stat.
definitely, it's definitely a good stat there. But I think you just gotta weigh everything. You can't, like, for even though I only show like a couple of trends here on one side, and that's my play. There's a lot more to it in the back end that we look at, not just a single trend and following that stuff. So that's my thought process on that, Caesar. But that's definitely a good stat to bring up. Those are two games that we wanted to talk about. Austin, was there? I mean, I know we want to keep this show short, but is there any other game that you had a lean on that we wanted to kind of break down live or anything like that?
No, not quite. Those are the two that stood out to me. I'm just looking forward to WNBA coming back on and talking and breaking down some games with you next week. Because, man, I'm really found my footing with these total WNBA totals. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
All like pumped up to do some more research there.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, the WNBA started off pretty hot, then it flattened out. The lines really got sharp, and now with more data, we're getting back into a groove with the WNBA. And one thing to note is, I think some people on the show prior that I was listening to was focused on line movement and things like that, going against the line movement. Or going with the line movement. Sometimes the books are wrong, especially in the small markets. Just like the WNBA, there was 2 games this week that I went against the line movement and we cashed. So that's just one way to think about it, as far as small markets, right? The lines and things like that. So make sure you guys do your capping process first and trust your capping process first before you look at line movements and betting splits. So that's just one thing that I wanted to add before we cut out. Anything to promote, Austin, before we bounce?
Not at the moment. So just I've tracked my picks with the Action Network app, so you can find me on there. Same handle, awang_HTX. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I recently looked at this Twitter handle called Dub Club. They offer a neat service for handicappers to provide picks and analysis through a messaging system that they have. So I'm kind of looking into that and seeing if that's something I want to pursue. So that may be coming down the pipipeline.
Awesome.
The next
let us know when you get that started. And are you going to be doing any WNBA pieces on Action Network? I know you were doing NBA for a while for Action Network. Yeah. And I'm actually excited to see if you do some WNBA on there.
I may do some WNBA personally. I think I'm going to take a break. Just the NBA season was quite a grind there. Yeah. So I might just, take it easy for them. I mean, NBA is going to start back up before you know it. And
I know, it's already summer league.
I know, right? I'm like, I felt like the season just ended. So anyways, it's how it goes. I need to catch up on some of these summer league games. But no, I may provide some analysis, some breakdowns, either through Twitter or possibly this Dub Club service for WNBA games starting the next couple of weeks. But I don't think I'll be doing any consistent writing or articles for
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of the show. Let me take this screen up. I don't know where it was on. So this is the end of the show, guys. Thanks to all who tuned in on YouTube and on Twitter. If you are on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you bounce. Make sure you check out the links in the description as well. And as always, I have to end with this. Please remember, whether you fade us or follow us, it's on you to make that call. Good luck on all your actions. Until next time. Peace.